Hey, hey! Guess what? I'm alive. Meet Nathan.
Hi, I'm Nathan. And I'm not a catfish. At least not with her.
Yeah. So, if you've watched the previous video that I did, I was in the Airbnb I'm still at now. It was Friday morning when I filmed that video. I thought I was being catfished. Thankfully, Nathan is actually real and he is chatting with us.
Yep. It's funny because I have control of this edit, so I can just like make things appear, or I can make you disappear if I wanted to. I wouldn't.
Yeah. We've spent the day editing. Nathan has taught me how to edit. I actually did edit the video of the catfish video that I did, and I mean, he obviously told me how to do everything, but I'm learning.
Yep, we do.
And I'm excited for him to see this side of the filming so that he knows. He was like, what are you doing? How did you envision this? Because I've got lights right there and here, and we're facing the window. You gotta have the best lighting.
Yeah, from this angle it looks really bizarre. And we're sitting on the floor as well, which is weird. But yeah, I just realised you sit on the floor quite a lot in the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right,
I stand or sitting on the floor. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I thought what we could do is, since we've never actually met in real life, we've Skyped, what, twice now?
Yeah,
3 times?
well, about 10 minutes each, so nothing at all really.
Yeah, yeah. So we basically only had a relationship over texting. And I thought it would be fun because I was really curious about how different he would be in real life versus over texting. So I thought it would be fun if we both shared what we thought of each other before we hung out and what we've figured out now.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
So one thing I would say, we did actually talk on Snapchat where we had videos of each other, so it wasn't completely by text. I knew what kind of you sounded like or what we spoke. We were basically speaking in conversations, except not in real-time conversations. So the first real-time interaction we had was only like a few weeks ago.
Right.
And now we're meeting, so it's been, you know.
Right, well, because the reason that we had that real-time conversation was because I was doing like an interview that I was pretty nervous about on Skype, and I was like, Nathan, you have to get on Skype so I can practice. So now we've talked since then. Yeah.
Yeah, so one thing I noticed, you brought this up earlier, because I said this to you, you're much more polite than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting you to be rude exactly, but I could imagine you having kind of like a, you know, more of a resting bitch face type.
Really?
Vibe. Maybe. But you were very, very kind of welcoming and polite, like overly polite to the point where people seem to be just being nice to you for no reason. Like there was a waitress and people are just, yeah, responding very well to you. So that's a good, yeah, it's a good tip for me to take. That is very different to what I expected, though. I'd expect you to be a bit more, not giving much away, not to be as warm and open. It's not a trait I would have associated necessarily. Obviously, I was wrong.
I started telling you this earlier. Sometimes when I see street vendors or like when I go to yard sales, I will negotiate prices just to have an interaction with people because I know I love interactions with people. So I think the reason I'm friendly is because I want to have an interaction with people.
So would you, if you wanted to interact with a person, and the only way to interact with them was to be provocative or to start an argument, would you still do it just for the interaction? Or is there like a light?
Yeah, I probably would.
No,
but it would be more, like it wouldn't be like an ENTP argument.
Yeah.
It would be more of just a, let's play, like, I mean, I don't know.
No, I can see that. I can understand. Yeah, because you are, by doing this politeness thing, by going out of your way to say something, and the way you say it, I can tell people there's now a little window of opportunity. If someone wanted to interact with you, it's there for them. You just like opening it up for if they want to take it. Most people obviously don't, but
I didn't actually know that I did that until you mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, that makes
like
sense.
Within the space of about 20 minutes, or she said, excuse me sir, excuse me ma'am, in a very, very polite way, like a deferential, polite way, that as a British person, we don't really do that. So yeah, so it definitely stood out. You've done it a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, after you mentioned it, I noticed myself doing it.
Yeah. So that surprised me. One thing that I think is the same as what I imagined, just the way you move through the world, like physically, and like, you know, metaphorically. you never seem to, like when we're walking around, like I'll be standing, like right now, I kind of feel like I'm like in an awkward position, like I need to move, like I didn't put my body in the right way. Or maybe like if someone is like, I walk into someone, oh, I want to sit quite right, then I'll have to adjust. Whereas you flow much more. Like I haven't seen you go like, where's my bag, where's my phone? You haven't lost anything. You just
Car
seem to
does
move.
that all the time.
Yeah.
Like you always,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, like I have to set up, like I always put things back in the same place because I know I'll lose them. Like my wallet always goes back to the same place. My laptop, I got these procedures that I put in place to account for the fact that physically things could go wrong all the time. So yeah, I have the sense of awkwardness often when I'm out in the world, when I'm interacting with people, just a physical awkwardness. Like I'm standing in the wrong way or sitting slightly awkwardly. You never have that basically. I haven't seen you put a foot wrong physically so far, which is what I expected. I expected that to be, given your personality type. So that's something that's been confirmed.
That's fascinating.
It's fun to watch, but also kind of annoying because I can't do it very well. So
I've not noticed that awkward. I probably will now.
Yeah.
I notice it with Car. Like Car is definitely more aggressively awkward than you are.
Like if we look,
he just always is.
like you're just sitting in a comfortable way, or I'm sitting down. This is probably not comfortable. I probably need to adjust, but my body just doesn't naturally go into the right position. And I've noticed that with certain types of people. They're standing in an awkward way. They don't know how to put their hands. They don't know how to hold a cup. I'm a bit like, how do you hold this cup? On the thing. It's really just weird.
You might find it interesting on the plane yesterday. Even though I only have like this teeny tiny little space to sit in, the ways that I find to sit in that space are fun to watch. Like from me watching from a distance, the way I maneuver my body in that tiny little space is interesting.
Yeah. You seem to have command over your body where I have partial command over my body, basically. Yes, because I was on a 10-hour flight too, and I basically just sat like that for 10 hours. I went to the toilet once. So yeah. So there's like an awkwardness, there's like a physical detachment that like people with our personality type with that high SE seem to have, which is very enviable trait.
You know what I've noticed? Tell me if you guys have noticed this. So an ESFP that I was around. So one night when I was hanging out with my friends, I didn't think about it until later, but there was a space on the couch, like pretty big space, and I laid down and put my legs up on the back of the couch, and afterwards I was like, I wonder if other people do that, because it's not something you see. But then I was hanging out with an ESFP, and we were all sitting around, and this ESFP did that exact thing. And I wonder if it's just extroverted sensing, just, I don't know, like we're very comfortable in the environment.
Yeah, and just more aggressive is not the right word, but I interact quite delicately with the environment. Like I very rarely break any of my things. Like I place things down properly. I don't want to knock things over. Whereas I think you can be more bullish in that way, and things will not go wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
I rarely break things, but I
fall out in places where I kind of like, if there was a space in the couch, there'd be more space still when I sat down. So I wouldn't take up the whole space, that kind of thing, which is interesting.
Yeah. That is interesting. Nathan, before we met, Nathan made sure to tell me multiple times that he's just a normal human being, and not to get my hopes up that, I think you were very worried that my perception of you was going to be different than...
Okay, that's true. I guess everyone is worried about that. Loads of people go on dating apps these days and online things, so that feeling of someone having a perception of you that will be confirmed or denied when they meet you is going to be a very common thing. It was more the fact that you were flying here to do it. If we just met up, like I'd come to your house, you come to my house, I'd be much more comfortable with it. Okay, I've got a few days, I've got a week. We're time to kind of, we'll have at least 1 or 2 days where it'll be good. Whereas this is kind of like you've got a little window of hours where you've got to not come across like an insane person, not be a catfish, not be a serial killer. Just be Nathan.
I'm just happy you showed up.
Yeah.
And I'm still alive, so I'm happy about both of those things.
This is such a funny trip because I'm visiting someone that I've never met before, that I have an online relationship with, a piano student of mine. So I've been going through the same thing. My family have been going crazy thinking, is he going to get killed by this guy? Why is he even going all the way to Miami? It's a 10-hour flight from the UK to Miami. So I'm in a position where I'm worried if he's going to be a serial killer, and you're worried about
I'm worried about it for you too.
Yeah.
Last night when I was worried about me, in between pauses of me being worried for my life, I was like, what if Nathan is being kidnapped and there's like a dungeon in this man's house?
Yeah, yeah. I think we both have methods in our head to deal with it, but yours are a bit more
extreme.
insane. Yeah.
Insane.
There's a bit more. And mine would be call the police, you know, for example, or just leave the place.
That's funny. Hey, babe. Hey, I'm in the middle of a video. Can I call you right back? Okay, bye. I didn't think I should.
It's so great you can just take a break and know that you can edit it. Feels good.
Yeah. What else should we talk about? I mean, you're basically the same as I imagined you would be.
Yeah. No, it is kind of funny actually that managing expectations is important, because you always want to you want to lower the expectations as much as possible so the actual interaction feels good. I guess just the relief of realizing that I'm a real person. I realized that when you were so worried about it, just the relief that I am what you thought I was will be enough. I don't even have to do anything basically. I don't have to be that impressive. I just have to exist. Basically. So yeah.
Yeah. Great life lesson. Just make people scared that you're not real. And then
That's true actually. You can, yeah, that is definitely a good tactic. Make them worried about something that is not true. So when that relief happens, you've already won.
It's really fun as we go through life and interact with the world. The cab drivers were like, what type of person is this person?
Yeah, for some reason almost all taxi drivers, we call them taxis, you call them cabs, okay. They seem to talk a lot. Taxi drivers and hairdressers. I don't think I've ever been in a taxi other than that last guy who just said nothing to us, that hasn't talked to us.
If you guys keep up with Dave's superpowers method of typing, the last taxi driver that we had, we do not think he's lead blast.
It seems like all taxi drivers are lead blast for some reason. I don't know why though. They always have a story ready to tell you, and they must tell the same story to other people. It must just be the same thing over and over.
Well, the one was really excited that you responded to what he had on the radio.
Yeah, it was
really
really weird. I don't know what language it was in. It sounded like a mixture of Nigerian and Spanish, and then every now and then you just hear Trump is crap in English, which is really weird. Yeah, that guy was funny. That guy did not stop talking from the second. Even when I tried to talk, it was just so we could take a breath, then you'd come back out and talk. So that guy was intense.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're in a cab, you want to just relax and kind of wake up or get ready for wherever you're going to, and they were always kind of doing that. That's fine though.
That's funny. Am I similar in real life otherwise than I am on camera?
Pretty much exactly the same, yeah. You very kind of go with the flow. Like for instance, I don't know if you've used the Uber app before, but...
Well, last night I did for the first time. I mean, Car always uses it when we're together.
You do seem like someone that has used the Uber app for the first time. So we ended up in the middle of nowhere, kind of twice, from 2 Uber drives, and that situation would not bother me at all. It didn't bother me at all. I think it's funny, and you were exactly the same way, which is what I expected. I wouldn't expect that to stress you or worry you, where there are certain people I know that would get completely freaked out by that experience. You get freaked out by other weird things, but that thing, going with the flow, just seeing where the day takes you, that's kind of something we have in common, basically. Like, we ended up in some very bizarre places today.
Yeah, the guy couldn't speak English at all, and he was an Uber driver.
Everyone here, in many parts of Miami, most people speak Spanish. It's very bizarre. I think a lot of them are Cuban or something like that, but yeah. My friend that I'm staying with said every taxi driver, every cab driver we encounter will be speaking Spanish, basically. We even tried to translate one of the words from Spanish, just the word beach. We just wanted to go to the beach, but that he just kept getting more angry. Just kept breathing heavier the more we tried to talk English at him.
Yeah.
And English,
he dropped us off in the middle of nowhere.
And there's an arrogance with people who speak the English language that if you just shout the language louder at someone, you'll just get it, you know?
Yeah.
But that doesn't work.
That was funny.
Yeah, so that's something I expected you to be like. I wouldn't expect you to be someone that gets kind of bothered if things don't turn out the exact way they want to, or gets, stressed out by changes in plans. I expect you to be able to go with the flow when you want to, basically.
Same. I wasn't at all worried that you were getting stressed out.
Yeah, no, thanks. Interesting. I just like how...
Hey, future Nathan.
Yeah, looking behind the scenes of this thing. Because when you do it, it just looks so... Like you just put the camera down and you go. I didn't realize it was a light and thing, because you just showed me that ring light once, which is impressive.
Yeah, these lights are not good. I mean, this is definitely not
You should look
ideal.
at that lumetri color thing on the Premiere Pro as well, because you can change the color of these things and make it look whatever vibe you want to convey. There's loads of different colors. You should have a look at that. That'll be a great thing to do.
Okay, I will. Maybe. No. Maybe I was gonna say maybe we can go over it in a future video, like if we do videos on Skype.
Yeah. No, we definitely should. Yeah, I'll just keep recapping this basically until it's sunk into you, because that's the only way to do it. That's the way I do it myself. Whenever you're learning a new skill, I just make it a habit as much as possible. If you're going to be doing videos a lot as well, which you obviously are.
Yeah, you're very much a teacher. Like, I figured you would be good at, this is something we can put in the video.
Okay, because video mode. Video mode. Back into video mode, yeah.
Well, we can put some of the stuff we were talking about a second ago in the video.
We could just do an unedited thing where we just like talk, we just like, in the gaps, we're just like, we don't know what to say.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can cut some of those out.
Yeah, probably.
But, I mean, yeah, I expected that you would be a good teacher because, I mean, in the past you have been a good teacher, but you're very precise about a lot of the details.
Yeah.
I knew you were worried about the details, but you're even more so than I expected.
Yeah, it's funny because when you meet someone for the first time, like we've just done, you're suddenly aware of traits you have, because the people you're used to have seen it all before. But I kept saying the same thing, oh, put this a little bit, the few pixels over. I thought, oh wait, I've said that like 10 times now. This is clearly something that is a trait of mine that probably people in my life probably wouldn't notice because they're used to it. Although I'm a piano and guitar teacher, I've never thought of myself as a particularly good teacher. Learning how to teach is the most important thing. Like when you learn how to drive, and you do your test, you can't really drive that well, you have to be out on the road and do it. I don't think you can learn how to teach until you've actually started doing it, and you've had the feedback from people. Because although people learn in different ways, one thing that I found in common is you basically have to do the activity a lot over time. That's basically the fundamentals of learning. So with video editing, which you're getting into, what I would do is when you look at the software, when you first go on it, or you're learning an instrument or you're learning anything, basically it just looks confusing and intimidating. So you just need to get comfortable with it, like put your hands on the piano or the guitar, get comfortable with what it feels like to sit down, what it feels like to look at it, just be around it a lot, basically humanize the things, don't make it into some sort of scary monster. When you see like the Premiere Pro software that we use for the videos, it's very intimidating because you've got boxes everywhere.
Right.
If you just go on there every day for a week, suddenly it'll look very similar, suddenly you start to see things and get familiar with them. So that's my method when I try to teach people. I basically am like a personal trainer that tries to force people. I go back to the piano, play that same thing. I know it's boring and very tedious, but keep doing it. And I see people sit at the piano and do something that was totally alien to them a week ago, as if it's second nature. I'm also going to teach you how to play piano.
He has reminded me, I don't know how many times, that you are going to make me do things over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to learn, if you tell me, this is my philosophy. If someone says they want to learn, as if they start paying me, I take that as license to be very, very pushy with the person until they say, I don't want to learn anymore, in which case I'd stop. Like, for example, the person I'm staying with, I still teach piano, and it can be a bit of butting of heads sometimes because he has his own philosophy, because he was a guitar teacher himself, about how to learn, and he'll stop playing and he'll start talking about the theory, and I'm like, you need to keep putting your hands on the piano in that position, you need to keep doing it. So I'd be very, pushy with piano. I can't help it as well. It comes across as a bit aggressive possibly, but I'm so like unintimidating that people won't be frightened by it. But yeah, that's what you got to look forward to. Basically.
That's really interesting. I have a point to make about that, but before I make that point, I also want to make the point that I was really happy when his piano student paid for your trip to come see him, because obviously that means that I'm not the only person that thinks that Nathan has superior people skills.
Yeah, this whole trip has reminded me that I just have really weird relationships with people. Like if this trip hadn't happened and we hadn't met, let's say things hadn't worked out, we could have had a relationship that lasted maybe 4 years, 5 years and never met. We could have had a lifetime long relationship in which we never met. That would be very, very bizarre.
Yeah. Well, it's really bizarre meeting as well.
It is bizarre meeting, but I actually feel like there's no difference between meeting and talking to you online.
Right.
There is no difference, basically.
Right, same. Yeah, I agree. I will also say, I think that like you were saying you kind of have a little bit of aggressiveness with teaching, like
Yeah.
the way that you're like, no, do this. Yeah, that bossiness. I was saying that you, well, I mean, is that the wrong word?
No, that's the right word. It's just too real. Yeah.
So I was saying you seem older than 24. Like,
Okay.
I expected when we interact online, he seems older than 24, but I expected that in person he would probably seem more like a 24-year-old, and I definitely think that you
Yeah, I feel like I'm 1,000 years old, just trapped in a young person's body, basically. I've always identified with older people rather than younger people, generally, in my tastes. And I've been around older people all of my life, so I've never had any siblings. I'm an only child, so when you were growing up, you will have had constant interaction with people that are the same age as you, in school and then at home. At home, I'm surrounded by old people, like my grandparents are still alive and they're 90. They were alive during the Second World War, so they have stories from that. So my mind, when I was growing up, was filled with these things that are kind of rooted in the past, basically. Which is a very good thing, but also can make you seem, yeah, like an old catfish. Is that what you're expecting? Like a 50-year-old man to turn up or something? Okay.
Is there anything else we should talk about?
Yeah, I think that you, yeah, to me, you act younger than I do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you seem younger than I do as well.
Yeah.
Like, you probably look younger than I do as well. But
No.
still. Okay, thanks. But that's very interesting. How, yeah, these days, it's getting harder and harder to place people's age from like the age of 18 to about mid-30s. Like, there are some people where if they said they were 35, I'd believe them. If they said they were 18, I'd believe them. It's very hard to tell. Maybe that's the internet, we're just exposed to more things that you wouldn't be usually. But yeah, I agree that I don't seem like a 24-year-old.
Yeah. True.
That's an interesting idea, actually. I'm trying to think of any of my 20-year-old... Lots of my 24-year-old friends actually don't have... Well, they have partners, but they don't have children. They're not married. So a lot of my generation are actually staying younger for longer, yet they seem more mature at the same time. It's like you're more... How to say it? You develop faster, but you become an adult later, if that makes sense. Like, there are 30-year-olds now living with their parents. That's a very unusual thing if you go back in time. You'd be kind of independent, you'd have your own family. By 30 you could be the head, male or female, of the family, basically. Whereas 30 these days, you're still, you know, trying to figure out what to do with your life, basically, which has changed a lot, I think, over the last 20 years, probably.
I agree.
So what's it like travelling on your own for the first time?
Terrifying.
Really?
Well, the traveling part wasn't bad because, I mean, like I said, I knew what to expect with traveling, and I've flown by myself before. But yeah, staying at a place by myself, I mean, I've spent my whole life having somebody to take care of me.
Princess.
So
I'm just shocked that you've never spent a night alone. Like, I can understand being alone in a foreign place, but never even spending a night alone is just completely
no,
crazy.
I mean, I've got so many siblings,
Okay.
and then whenever I wasn't with my sibling, I mean, like at home, I was at a friend's house, and then Carr's been out of town like a time or two, but I always went to his parents' house.
Oh, really? Because you just couldn't stand to be alone. What is it about being alone then? Oh wait, are you saying it run a battery, or it just goes off at a certain time?
It must have a timer on it.
Oh, we should look into that to try and solve that. Then again, maybe there's a reason.
If you solve that.
If I solve that, what? Is there a cash prize? What? Okay.
No, tell me how to fix it, because the camera I have coming in is exactly like this one.
Okay.
We're gonna have the exact same camera.
Okay, you have to show me how to use it then.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't take any videos. Oh, did we take a video or two of the place?
No, just the beach.
Okay, I'll just get some Google images and tell people this stuff. That's what I did. I just photoshopped my...
Well, you'll have this camera the rest of the week, so you can take pictures.
Oh, that's true, actually. I'll have to come
For
back
yourself.
to some scenic areas.
Yeah. This.
How do we end it?
Let me think. If you're happy that I'm alive and you're happy to have met Nathan, like I am, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And from now on, you'll know the man behind the editing.